So we're back onto grid now for race 2 here at the Dubai Autodrome. And this is the way they start for race 2. Stefan Johansson, Nicholas Navarro on row 1. Then it's Jean Alesi and Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum, row 2. Row 3 is Terrien and alongside Lauda. Row 4, Alsen, Morbidelli. Then we see row 5, Herbert and Mikola, and on row 6, Katayama and Giroa right at the back of the grid. And we hear the klaxons go, which is the warning that we need people to start clearing the grid. Now, the windscreen wiper being looked at here on Johnny Herbert's car number 69, and one of his team having a look at that because there is rumours of 1 or 2 spots of rain. And if that is the case, then of course it is important that those wipers are working. Speedcar. It's what it says, it's what the car is. And that is Matthias Lauda in car number 21, the blue and green Speedcar 21. So grid girls on their way back to the safety of their dressing room, where they'll be watching every single aspect of this race as they form a bond with their driver. And we are but a couple of minutes away from the racing getting underway, but with just 2 minutes left to run before the race is underway. Adjustments being made to Johnny Herbert's wiper, and he'll be shouting frantic instructions to the flame-throwing 69 team member that has the dubious task of fixing that before the race gets underway. And they're a fantastic sight of yet more female fans ready to take in the heroic action of the Speedcar Race 2 here at the Dubai Autodrome. So out of these names, where's it going to go? Johansson, Navarro, Alesi, Al Maktoum, Terrien, Lauda, Alsen, Morbidelli, Herbert, Mikola, Katayama and Giroa. And all those cars roar into life. Those V8 monster machines that are speed cars. Safety car there to lead them round on formation lap. There is Stefan Johansson. Stefan Johansson calling for something just to be done. Worst possible preparation for a driver before a race gets underway, but obviously whatever was bothering Stefan has been sorted out. So there is the 07 car of Stefan Johansson with 1 or 2 scars and 1 or 2 dents, which gives you just some indication of how close, tight this racing really is. And the cars roar into life and are away then as the wheels are turned for the formation lap. And the absolute sound is incredible of these V8s roaring away. Now you'll see these cars weaving from side to side as those cars have sat on the grid waiting to get underway. Of course the tyres have not got warmed up, so they weave from side to side to put some temperature into those tyres and scrub them a wee bit. Well, Danny, I ain't sure who's going to win, was the conversation that was going on there back in the stands. And then right at the back of the grid there we see Morbidelli. So the safety car leads them round on the formation lap, and the cars continue to weave. Being led away by Stefan Johansson then in car number 7. 71, Navarro, Terrien, Lauda. The names just keep rolling through as the cars roll through on their formation lap. There we can see the safety car, which will slow up and get these drivers into grid. A whole load of team members there checking out what's going on out there just before this race gets underway. And still they continue to weave from side to side. Final instructions being muttered between members in Morbidelli's garage. And doubtless discussions going on next door in Johnny Herbert's race garage as well. So the revs being brought up, some temperature into those tyres now, and the feeling of excitement and anticipation beginning to grow. Now the safety car takes an odd route off, but the safety car does take his route off the track, which means providing the lights extinguish and go green, they do. We are on and racing. Let's go racing. This is Speedcar, the National Round Race 2, and look at this absolute bunch of mammoth racing machines as they haul up the home straight and into the first bend, and cars going absolutely everywhere as every driver tries to jostle for position. But the race is being led away by the yellow peril. That's car number 71, Nicholas Navarro, as the rest all seem to settle down now. A little bit of panel rubbing having gone on and jostling for position right in the early part of the race, as is always expected. We're on board with Matthias Lauda, and this is what we can see in front of us, and the smoke you can see is wheels being locked up as each of these cars propels his way into some of the challenging bends. Oh, Max Uman, oh, what a ding back there. We saw Johnny Herbert involved in that, and this is what went wrong. We're with Johnny Herbert. He's got through that, but he's got a whole race full of battles like that to come. Some sparks being flown off now. The Stefan Johansson car of 07. So obviously some fault with the Johansson car in 07. Sparks absolutely flying off as they lock their wheels up into the bends. Jean Alesi, Matthias Lauda, Nicholas Navarro leading the way. But the absolutely menacing Jean Alesi already having made up places. So it's Navarro, Alesi, Lauda and Al Maktoum and Anando. So Navarro, Alesi, Lauda, Al Maktoum, Anando Mikola, Katayama, Giroa and Olsen. Johnny Herbert is into the pits now. We can see just to the left the damaged wing on Johnny Herbert's car, and this is Stefan Johansson, who has sparks flying out his car. Stefan Johansson into the pits as well, and let's see, is there anything that the teams are going to be able to do to put these cars right? There's Johnny Herbert's machine. Absolutely, look at that. Door and wing panel absolutely bent out of shape. Meantime, back on track, Nicholas Navarro leads the way. Jean Alesi second, and Al Maktoum in third place has got past Lauda. And there is Stefan Johansson's battle-weary car after just one lap. And there's David Terrian in car number 20. That car very down one side. It looks like the team are going to have a go at getting that car back out on track again. Do hope that's the case. Nicholas Navarro in the yellow peril meantime still leads. Wow, what a sight in your rear-view mirror. And it's Jean Alesi in car number 27. We're on board with Matthias Lauda, and we can see exactly what it's like from a driver's eye perspective. There's a bit of a gap there. Maktoum has left a bit of a gap. Lauda takes a look, but he hasn't quite got the legs to get into that gap that was left there. Car number 18 and Mikola this is very, very tight. 85, 21 and 18 as they go wide. And Mikola taking a very wide line. They're all bunched up together. Navarro as he locks up into the corner, and Jean Lacey takes evasive action trying to look for a way through. Now Jean Lacey has gone very, very wide. He was literally right into the boot of Navarro's car, and then Navarro locked every wheel up under braking, and Lacey, rather than absolutely blitz him, took evasive action and got out of the way. That's those many years of experience. Okay, we're back on board with Lauda, with Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum right in front. Lauda is trying to find a way through now. The gap is less than 0.3 of a second, but he overcooks it into that bend, got a real wobble on, and oh my goodness me, that has really meant that he has had to defend his position and push Katayama literally off the track. Real panel rubbing racing from Speedcars, and whilst all that is going on, Jura is thinking, thanks very much, I'm going to move up a place here in car number 17. So this is what it was like at the start. Absolutely phenomenal sight as the cars all roar towards us. Look at Lacey right up the outside. So into the pits then for one of the cars, but right now this is where a real battle is ongoing from Al Maktoum and Mikola. Navarro still out in front, and Nicolas Navarro in the Yellow Peril 71 speed car, and that's Jean Lacey into the pits. Meantime, Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum really having to defend his position as Mikola tries to go through, and they are literally neck and neck. They're side by side, and there's more sparks out of. Now that looks like Mikola's car, which has broken something. It looks like one of the track control arms perhaps, or one of the suspension components is absolutely bust, and there are sparks flying, and he's headlong into one of the tyre walls, and that'll be Mikola's race done and dusted. What a shame. Meantime, Nicolas Navarro, and he is way out in front. Maktoum in car number 85 looked to have rubber coming off his tyres. Katayama in car number 6, he's been damaged. Meantime, Fabian Jura in the all-blue car 17 having a battle of his own with Gianni Morbidelli in car number 10. Meantime, here is 85 and 08, and you can see the 85 car, the rear wheel, which seemed to be shedding some parts, appears to be okay now, although Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum is not as quick as he was, which would indicate that maybe there is problems there. Uwe Olsen, meantime, in car 08, and what a sight we didn't want to see. That's Johnny Herbert taking a look at the action out on track now and thinking, I am not part of it. What a shame. So this was the Johnny Herbert, well, in fact, this was the incident with 4 or 5 drivers. Then Morbidelli turns, Herbert avoids that, has nowhere to move, takes Stefan Johansson, and unfortunately Herbert tried everything he could. Meantime, this is Katayama and Lauda, Matthias Lauda in car number 21, as Katayama looks up the inside and absolutely turns Lauda around. But this is stock car racing, and there's Navarro locking up, causing Jean Lacey to get in all sorts of a muddle, but avoiding any critical damage by going out wide. And then we see Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum and Mikola come together. More panel rubbing and component busting stock car racing. So Morbidelli now. This is car number 10, Gianni Morbidelli and Fabian Jura in car number 17. And back out on track we go, as these cars battle weary, scarred, those that are left. Nicolas Navarro thinking, thank you very much, in the Yellow Peril, still pushing for all his might, doing everything he possibly can to build up a lead that he is going to be able to maintain. track is punishing, and so are the cars. You can see the car dips down under braking. Nicolas Navarro has got a significant lead in front of him now, but he's going to keep it there. But look, just look how hard Uwe Olsen is pushing to get on terms with Navarro. There is going to be a supreme battle right up in front between 71 and 8. Absolutely phenomenal. Look at this from Gianni Morbidelli, who's just set the fastest lap and goes up the inside of Katayama. Right. And Gianni Morbidelli, Katayama not giving up yet though, but Gianni Morbidelli has made it count. A fantastic overtaking manoeuvre, completely outbraked him into the right-hander off the home straight. You can see one or two dents on the Katayama car, brought about from earlier skirmishes in this speed car race. And this is the fantastic overtaking manoeuvre from Gianni Morbidelli as he encroaches upon the gap that Katayama left there, and Morbidelli just went through. Katayama tried to have a go past. We're on board with Morbidelli now, and this is how he outbraked him. Katayama on the brakes, Morbidelli not so, and still managed to hold it tight into the corner. Fantastic racing. And there's Morbidelli now with Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum. And 85, Al Maktoum will try to defend his position, but he knows that Morbidelli is on a mission. Morbidelli is really trying hard. Morbidelli, of course, the race victor from yesterday, and he'll be thinking, I could do with that all over again, as he looks up the inside of Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum. And Maktoum seems to let him go through. He'd just got nowhere to go. He couldn't shut the door on Morbidelli, and Katayama comes through as well. Katayama is literally drafting Morbidelli, using everything that Morbidelli is doing and thinking, I'll have some of that as well, and I'm going to follow in every single wheel track that you've got. Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum, I'm still not convinced that that car is running absolutely perfectly after the earlier skirmishes that took place. But this is phenomenal racing. Right up front, there is car number 71, Nicolas Navarro in the yellow peril. And there is Stefan Johansson, and just look at the damage on Stefan Johansson's car. It's all being held together by bits of gaffer tape now, and there's Johnny Herbert, who's about to say, hey, sorry Stefan, had nowhere to go. I suspect that's what he's going to say. Back on track, we're on board right now with Gianni Morbidelli, and this is how he went past Al Maktoum. Up the inside and just held on to it. Maktoum fought back around the outside, but the shorter route definitely chosen by Morbidelli, and all his racing experience comes good in manoeuvres like that, and Katayama following through as well. So there we have the battle between Gianni Morbidelli and Katayama. It's Navarro, Olsen, Morbidelli, Katayama and Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum, who are occupying the first 5 places in this Speedcar National Round Race 2. There is Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum, and just as we speak, Fabien Giroa tries to find a way round, and he does indeed find a way through, or does he? Goes out very wide, and Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum is not giving anything away, and Fabien Giroa is going to have to go the long way round. So there we can see Gianni Morbidelli, who is being tracked every single step of the way by Katayama. Katayama not close enough to have a go up the inside, but Fabien Giroa is going to try that on Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum, although he too not quite close enough to his prey, car number 85, to do it. There is a big battle going on here between car number 85 and car number 17. Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum in the red car number 85, and Fabien Giroa in car number 17. It's red v blue. Meantime, this is the gap between the two. It is 0.2 of a second between Maktoum and Giroa, and Giroa takes a look up the inside, and this time he does it. He has gone through, shuts the door on Al Maktoum and says, no, I'm not going to let you come back in here. I've waited several laps to be able to do that, and he has done that. And there's Amanda Nicola walking back His car done and dusted for today, and Ananda Mikkela's race done and dusted for today. What a shame. Meantime, the race continues, and what a real race battle it is between 17 Fabian Giroux, who has got past Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum, and Al Maktoum there is not letting him get away, though. Very, very sideways action as Fabian Giroux gets that car into a real oversteer slide and piles on the opposite lock to control it, and control it he does. Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum in car number 85. So it's Navarro, Alzen, Morbidelli, Katayama, Giroux, Al Maktoum and Matthias Lauda. And Maktoum has another go at Fabian Giroux. Just thinks here's an opportunity here, and he's going to go for it, and he does go for it. A real battle going on here between car number 17 and car number 85. This is the battle for 5th place in this race. Fabian Giroux winning at the moment in terms of that battle for 5th place, but Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum not prepared to let him get away with it if at all possible. There's Uwe Olsen going very, very wide in car number 08, the all-white 08. Thankfully manages to recover and get back out on track. But we're back with the battle for 5th as it rages and continues between Fabian Giroux and Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum. And Al Maktoum is up the inside, and he's got him. He has absolutely got him. He is through, and then he shuts the door. So Fabian Giroux, who is really having to battle so hard, when he got past Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum, he thought, this is it, I'm done and dusted now. Far from it. It is close, tight racing, and Giroux looks again and thinks, right, I'm going to go inside. He does go inside, and he gets through. These places being traded unmercifully throughout this race. And that the battle for 5th place, the race being led by 71 Nicolas Navarro in 2nd place, Uwe Olsen in car number 8, and Gianni Morbidelli in 3rd place. And there is Gianni Morbidelli. Then we see Katayama, Ukio Katayama in the all-black number 6 machine. And here is that battle as it's underway, and constant lap after lap after lap of battling racing action between these two drivers. Fabian Giroux in car number 17 and Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum. And there, the delight of the way things are going right now from team members in the garages there. There's Gianni Morbidelli. There's Katayama in the battle-weary and scarred 85 machine as Fabian Giroux takes a look up the inside of Katayama right now. And Katayama realises he's there, just bashes into him and says, hang on a minute, I'm going to run you. My goodness me. They are trading places. Katayama says no. Fabian says yes. And these really are pushing very, very hard indeed. And Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum in the mix as well. This is Speedcar racing. Proper saloon stock car racing on the Dubai Autodrome. And we're on board with Matthias Lauda, and we can take a look at exactly what's going on here from a driver's eye perspective. Well, incredible places being traded and paint being rubbed. Well, I never did. Look at this. Absolutely phenomenal racing. Lauda in the mix, Katayama there as well, and Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum in car number 85 as Lauda takes a look up the inside, heading towards the home straight. And Lauda is right on the rumble strips, and Al Maktoum manages to get away as we cross the start-finish line. And this is the picture then as all these cars head up towards the first right-hander, and you just know that somebody's going to have a go here. Is it going to be Lauda? And there's Uwe Olsen in car number 8 out of the pits just to add into the melee. My goodness me, there are cars everywhere. Car number 85, Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum coming under amazing pressure from 21. Absolutely amazing stuff from these speed car drivers. And the reason Uwe Olsen was in the pits, a potential driver penalty. Nonetheless, we are on board with Lauda, and Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum locks up Lauda not quite close enough, but he's getting ever closer, and he's looking at every gap that's being produced by Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum and trying to suss exactly where he's going to go, when he's going to turn in, when he's going to brake, and store that information and think, right, now it's my turn to pounce. So we are on board with Lauda, taking a look at what Lauda is facing and just quite how he's going to get past car number 85, Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum. There they are, battling away, 85 and 21. And 85 goes very wide. That gives just the gap that Lauda needs to have a look, and Lauda does have a look, shuts the door on Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum, and he gets through. There is Fabian Giroux, but there is Matthias Lauda in car number 21, who really drove with his head then, was just waiting for Sheikh Hasser Al Maktoum to make the slightest mistake or leave the slightest gap, and that would be enough for him to be through, and it was. Now this is Uwe Olsen, who suffered a drive-through penalty, and of course just as he rejoins the track, all hell's breaking loose around. There's Nicolas Navarro meantime in the yellow peril in car number 71. Whilst everything's breaking out behind him, he is in a great position. Stefan Johansson then, all he can do is look on, and look on in anger, wishing that he was still out there. Nicolas Navarro, car number 71, leads the way. In this, the Speedcar National Round Race 2, being led by Navarro. Then it's Morbidelli, Giroux, Olsen, Lauda, Al Maktoum, Katayama, and now sadly Mikola out too. So we're seeing the battle now between Fabian Giroux as he whale-tails his way out of that bend, and Uwe Olsen in car number 08, your white machine, blue 17. Giroux and Olsen taking a look up the inside. Tyres are locked up from Fabian Giroux, and Olsen still looking at the inside. Giroux not letting him have any space at all. They are really working very, very hard together, but of course each has that place in mind. That's what they want, battling for third place. Giroux, Olsen, blue, white. Now keep an eye on this white car, this Olsen car. Is he going to dive out and go for an inside manoeuvre at the end of this home straight? It looks like it. Is he going to be able to outbrake Fabian Giroux? Fabian Giroux absolutely shuts the door and says, oh no you don't. You find the long way round the outside, as the wheels are lifted off, as the power is applied from Fabian Giroux's car. Absolutely monumental driving from these cars and drivers. Very wide Giroux goes, and Olsen is just tracking absolutely everything he does. Navarro leading the way, Morbidelli second, and then we see this battle between third, fourth, and Lauda about to join in as well. Fifth place drivers, 17-08. The battle continues there for third. Fabian Giroux, and Uwe Olsen is looking up the inside and is really pushing his car to the absolute limit in terms of where he can push it. Fabian once again locks up, but there Uwe Olsen drafting in behind him is going to look for an inside move again. Fabian Giroux will be more than well aware of that and will not make it too easy for him around the sweeping bends. Now this is where Fabian could go wide, and does go wide, not intentionally, but Olsen got a little bit onto the rumble strips and failed to make that move count, so they'll have another go on the home straight as they into the left-hander. But before then, Fabian gets sliding and gets the opposite lock on and goes sideways, and that allows Olsen through, and Lauda is going to have a go as well. We're on board with Lauda, and this is what it looks like. Fabian Giroux has managed to save the day from that point of view and protect himself from Lauda. But is Lauda going to outbrake him into the bend and go up the inside, or is Giroux going to shut the door? Indeed he does. Smoke is steamed off the tyres, but Lauda's never say die attitude as he continues to push. But Olsen is through, and Fabian Giroud really having to drive defensively to protect his place from Matthias Lauda, who's currently in 5th, who's desperately trying to displace Giroud and get into 4th. It's Navarro, Morbidelli, Olsen, Giroud and Lauda, the battle up front. So there is Lauda in car number 21, who really is pushing very, very hard. Fabian Giroud there. So Uwe Olsen has been given a black flag. Well, a black flag for Uwe Olsen. Meantime, Fabian Giroud and Matthias Lauda, who of course won't be aware of that, are considering their next move. Fabian Giroud driving with incredible defence qualities as he knows that he has to protect what is his. Matthias Lauda doing everything he can, pulling on every nerve and every sinew in his body, as well as pushing the car to the absolute limit to try and find a way through. So taking a look at Uwe Olsen, who will be shown the black flag, and there is the black flag for Uwe Olsen in the all-white machine. Meantime, Fabian Giroud and Matthias Lauda continue to battle for that place. There's Olsen. There is Fabian Giroud in car 17, and Matthias Lauda appears to have eased up just a little bit now, or maybe Fabian Giroud has just got the bit between his teeth once again and is thinking, I'm going to put a cushion of air between me and him.
Mouth-watering head-to-head encounter between the big two. This time,
absolutely fantastic!
Not for the Premier League title, but a ticket to the quarter-finals
A work of genius!
of the oldest football competition in the world. Man United do battle with Arsenal, live on Starsports. This FA Cup broadcast on Starsports is brought to you by Maxis. How do you decide which scores you want to know? With Score Tonight, you can find out all the scores in just half an hour. Yes, that's right, all the scores. Score Tonight, only on Starsports. What sets the stage? Is it the tools that create distinction from the rest of the sport? Or the ones using them that pump strategic precision into the game? They had left their signature moves on the table that inspired greatness. Their crossing path is again inevitable. Be inspired and watch their next move. The Guinness 9-Ball Tour 2008. Greatness continues on Starsports.
Uwe Olsen then under a black flag. There is our race leader, Nicolas Navarro. In the yellow peril that is car number 71. So Speedcar, a brand new series then, and a fantastic racing series, all part of the Grand Racing package. We're with Matthias Lauda, on board with Matthias Lauda, car number 21, the young Matthias Lauda, and the very experienced Fabian Giroud in front of him. And of course, and Fabian Giroud gets very sideways, he locks it up, puts just a bit too much into that corner and gets sideways. Now, had Lauda been just a little bit closer, he could have taken advantage of that indiscretion. But he wasn't quite close enough, but there is Fabian going very, very sideways again. He's gone, he's spun, he's out, and Lauda is through. Well, Matthias Lauda, through patience, just kept there and felt his opportunity was going to come, and his opportunity was passed to him like a gift horse. There's Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum in car number 85. There has been some phenomenal entertainment, and let's take a look at this. There is Fabien Giroux, and as you can see, he dials in the opposite lock as he gets it sideways into a slide, can't quite hold on to it. Matthias Lauda takes evasive action, and in so doing wins an extra place on track. So well done to Matthias Lauda for holding on and just driving with his head and being very cool through there and taking advantage of what could have been a very nasty situation as Fabien Giroux spins in car number 17. So there is our race leader, Navarro in the yellow peril, car number 71, Nicolas Navarro. There is Gianni Morbidelli in second place in car number 10. And Navarro has driven a faultless race, absolutely brilliant in the yellow peril, but Morbidelli, you can just see, is beginning to reel him in. We are reaching the closing stages of the race. Has Morbidelli left himself too much to do in the dying embers of the race as we get just 4 laps left to run? Can he do it? So the gap between Navarro and Morbidelli is coming down. It's now just 4.75. So this is Fabien Giroux going for another spin in car number 17. Meantime, this is the front. The yellow peril propels itself around the Dubai Autodrome with Morbidelli, who is really, and I mean really, reeling him in. And this is going to be a frantic fight to the finish from these awesomely powerful speed cars here at the Dubai Autodrome. Nicolas Navarro, car number 71. Fantastic as he propels that car through this challenging circuit, knowing full well probably by now, because he will have glanced it, that Gianni Morbidelli is on his way. Hot off the success of yesterday, Gianni Morbidelli's confidence will be sky high, and he is driving like an absolute rocket right now to get on terms with race leader Nicolas Navarro in car number 71. Gianni Morbidelli is pursuing him like prey, and Navarro is aware of it, and he's not giving up. He is absolutely pushing as hard as he possibly can without making a stupid mistake, which would be suicidal at this stage of the race when he's driven it so well. But look how close Morbidelli is now, using every single bit of the tarmac, and not only the tarmac but the runoff area as well, with 3 laps left to run. Navarro, Morbidelli, Olsen, Lauda, and there is Olsen, who comes into the pits very, very sideways. That doubtless because of that black flag, which of course does mean that you are disqualified, and he's not very happy about that at all. In fact, Olsen is absolutely fuming and furious as he parks his car up outside the garage. Now, knowing Olsen as we do, he is not going to be at all happy about this. So there is Uwe Olsen in car number 8. He will be absolutely furious because, of course, he was in a position where he was challenging for places. And there is Uwe Olsen, who retires to his garage and is probably not best pleased at having his race cut short through what he will consider is no fault of his as he wanders through the garage. There is our race leader with just 3 laps left to run, Nicolas Navarro in car number 71. And he has lost it. Oh, he has had a blowout, and the tyre is gone, and he is spinning and spinning and spinning. There's damage to the bodywork. Can you believe it? After having driven such a fantastic race, Navarro so close, and it all ends in tears. That was incredible for car number 71, the yellow peril of Nicolas Navarro. Wow, he was leading the race, and then the tyre just let go. What does this mean? Well, it means that Gianni Morbidelli, yesterday's race 1 victor, looks like he could be going for victory number 2 in the Speedcar series. And there is Nicolas Navarro, who just cannot believe his luck. driven faultlessly throughout the race, and this is how it happened. There you can see the tyre absolutely lets go, and the incredible pressure on that car means that everything is being bent and pressured underneath that car, and Navarro did jolly well to hold on to that and bring that to a safe stop. So Gianni Morbidelli then, he must see this all happening in front of him and thinks, my goodness me, I don't believe it. I thought I was going to have a battle on in the last 2 laps, but now all he's got to do is keep it relatively reasonable. I say that, and he's lifting a wheel off as he pushes as hard as ever before. And can you believe, from that packed grid of cars, there are only 5 left. Such has been the excitement in this racing, and Johnny Herbert is standing there thinking, my goodness me. I'll be having a chat with Johnny, and he'll be so sorry that he's not part of the action out there, because it has been absolutely scintillating red hot stuff. And there is Gianni Morbidelli leading the way in car number 10. Yesterday he drove impeccably, and today you could argue that maybe this win is going to be gifted, but you have to take your chances, and Gianni Morbidelli was really beginning to reel in Navarro, but you have to feel for young Nicholas Navarro, who was doing so very well indeed. He knew Morbidelli was reeling him in. There's Matthias Lauda in car number 21, the blue and green Speedcar machine. Matthias Lauda, car number 21, and that's what it looks like for him, and he knows he's just got 1 lap of this Dubai Autodrome to do, and he will be in the number 2 position on the podium. Sheikh Hasha Al Maktoum, who again has nurtured and nursed that car around this circuit through ding after ding and bash after bash. He's still there, and what a sight. There's Nicholas Navarro thinking, within 3 laps of winning that race, he must be absolutely desperately disappointed. Meantime, to what's happening on track, and Gianni Morbidelli in car number 10. He can afford, of course, to cruise home now. Just take the car gently home, but he's not doing that. That's not the name of stock car racing, is it? Absolutely flat out. Gianni Morbidelli in car number 10. He'll have had a fantastic weekend here at the Dubai Autodrome if he can get this car around the final couple of corners and into that home straight, and he will be awaiting the checkered flag. Gianni Morbidelli in car number 10 goes for win number 2. There is the checkered flag, and he takes it. Gianni Morbidelli, who will be absolutely thrilled. He embraces his team along the pit wall. And this is Lauda, Matthias Lauda, who's going to take 2nd place. There is 21, Matthias Lauda, and you can just see the gap. This is how fast this race has been this afternoon. Been absolutely amazing. Matthias Lauda, and then all credit to Sheikh Hasha Al Maktoum as well for nursing that car home to 3rd place on the track. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Then we'll see Fabian Giroa and Katayama. There is Giroa, takes it very wide, uses the runoff area and the rumble strips, and Giroa crosses the line in 4th place. Well done to Fabian Giroa. What a race from these speed cars, all part of the grand racing weekend here at the Dubai Autodrome. And there is our race winner, and he waves to the crowd. Gianni Morbidelli takes the 2nd win, his 2nd win of the weekend, taking the Speedcar National Round Race 1 and Race 2 as well. With the hand out of the window, he waves, and Morbidelli will be thinking to himself, well, I was always going to try and do it. There is 06 Katayama, who goes very sideways, and there's Matthias Lauda now in up on terms with Gianni Morbidelli. What an absolutely epic race from these speed cars, and just gives us a taster of what to come and what to look forward to throughout this series. It is absolutely phenomenal motorsport. So there is Morbidelli. Into the pits he goes. And this is where it is then. Gianni Morbidelli taking the win. Matthias Lauda second place. Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum third. Fabian Giroa in fourth place. Ukio Katayama in fifth, and that is the way it looks. Absolutely fantastic stuff, and from that whole grid of cars you can see just how few finished, and you have to feel for Nicolas Navarro, the guy that led for so much of that race. As the 1, 2, 3 pull into the paddock, they will get an absolute roar of appreciation from the crowd here at the Dubai Autodrome, who have just witnessed one of the most spectacular action-packed races. And there is Gianni Morbidelli, thrilled to bits. He'll be thinking to himself, hey, maybe it was great that I took the opportunities I did. I never expected for it to be gifted so easily. Matthias Lauda, he'll be pleased with his weekend as well. And there is Navarro's car. Poor Nicolas Navarro. And there's Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum, who did so very, very well, nursing that obviously slightly underperforming car into third place. Well, the drivers will make their way to the podium. And of course we will try and grab a word with each of these drivers. But they make their way up to the podium. And this is how just some of the action unfolded. And so the drivers up onto the podium they go. Matthias Lauda, driver number 21, Gianni Morbidelli, driver number 10, and Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum. What fantastic, phenomenal racing from these drivers. Been absolutely incredible entertainment. So conversations going on there. Gianni Morbidelli then, yes, we know it's 2, and we're delighted for you, as he takes both Race 1 and Race 2 in this speed car. Just in Race 1 and Race 2 over this grand racing weekend here at the Dubai Autodrome. So there is Sheikh Hasher Al Maktoum. Stands on the appropriate place on the podium, kisses his fans, blows them away. Matthias Lauda, driver number 21. And then incredibly, taking 2 out of 2. You've got to give it to this guy, Gianni Morbidelli, using every bit of racing experience he has, as he shakes hands with his competitors. national anthem done and dusted. And there is Gianni Morbidelli, race winner. 2 out of 2. So here we go then, the presentation of third place made by Simone Azam, the Chief Executive Officer of Union Properties, to Sheikh Hassan Al Maktoum. Then we see Saeed Khalfan, the chairman of the Dubai Autodrome, making the second place presentation to Matthias Lauda. And delighted to welcome Nicolas Deschaux, the president of the French Motorsports Association, to present the first place trophy to Gianni Morbidelli, our race winner. So there is the podium with the drivers on board. And everyone posing for photographs. Lovely to see, along with the prize trophy presenters as well, all on board on the podium. Well, what a phenomenal weekend of racing that the Grand Racing weekend has been, particularly with regard to Speedcar.